What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the GALLOP. I'm one of your co-hosts, Anthony Molleson, joined here today by Nick Bandanza. No Matthew on the show today, but we are joined by two special guests, both from Cal Poly Beach Volleyball. We got Kohn and Izzy Martinez here in the flesh. Before we get into the interview, just kind of some background on them for our audience. These two are currently the number one pairing for Cal Poly Beach Volleyball. The team currently ranked number 6 overall in the nation. So they've been killing it out there. In their first season, for Izzy and Ella, it's their first season playing together, and they have an overall 19-4 record on the season. And they also find themselves on a 13 win streak as a duo. Individually, Ella is a redshirt sophomore who missed the entirety of last season, but during freshman year was named AVCA First Team All-American, Big West Freshman of the Year, and earned First Team All-Big West honors, as well as becoming the first Mustang to win Big West Freshman of the Year. For Izzy, she's a true sophomore, also found great success in her time here. She was the 5th Mustang in program history to earn First Team All-Big West honors as a freshman, played primarily last year with Piper Furch, and in the lineup they went 18-16 together. They had 19 wins on the season before she and she also played 4 total matches with Piper Ness.
Yes.
Okay. And she had 5 wins over pairs from ranked teams. And then before coming to Cal Poly, she was also a member of the U19 USA Beach Volleyball national team. So yeah, that's it for the intro, basically. Thank you two for coming on the show. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty well. Excited.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for coming on. You know, you guys have been killing it this year, as I kind of alluded to. So first of all, just kind of want to hit a little bit on the team success. Last year, you've seen a vast improvement this year, like record-wise, obviously. So first of all, kind of just walk me through like why you guys think you've been able to like have the success you had this year.
Yeah, I think last year we had a couple of unfortunate injuries by a multitude of returners, which kind of put a lot more pressure on the freshmen to kind of step up and take the lead, which obviously, I mean, that came with its hardships. I think last year was definitely a building year, but I think we really learned from it, and that is obviously showing off this year.
Absolutely.
Another reason is we had 14 newbies on the team. We were outnumbered. We had 11 returners and 14 new girls. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of freshmen.
I know, Todd did a great job recruiting for this year.
Yeah. We have a lot of freshmen, and then we're getting even more next year because we graduate 1 and we get 8.
Yeah, you guys talk about that turnover. How does that work internally, maybe in the off-season, fall camp, of like building a camaraderie? How does that go about? How do you guys work together in finding that?
Yeah, I think we were although returners were a little nervous this year being outnumbered by newcomers, but we did a team bonding trip before the season started in the fall, before school started, and I think that really helped. We got to know all the newcomers, and I mean, we just got really lucky. We have an amazing group of girls, and it's been way better than I could have ever imagined having that many new girls.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to Fort Bragg.
Okay.
8-hour drive.
Yeah.
It was a long drive.
I'm sure that drive helped the bonding as well. You guys are just reading a bus together, I'm assuming. Yeah,
well, we went up early. There was a group of us that went up early to like set up the house, and then they took 3 different vans.
Okay.
Each by a different coach. So they all got to talk to the coaches because we didn't know any of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because we also got 2 new coaches this year.
So. Okay. Nice.
Wow. Do you think it's gone ahead of schedule? Like, you view yourself right now 6th in the nation, tearing everything up, top to bottom, from all 5 pairings. Has that been almost surprising because of how many new faces there were, or was there a point right before the season where you knew, like, hey, we have something special coming?
I think in the off season, because fall we have a lot of tournaments. They're not duels per se, but it's more like individual pairings playing together against other schools. And I think from the get-go, like, we had so many different pairings and mix-ups between girls that I'm like, anyone can play with anyone and still be successful. And then coming into this season, first tournament out of the bat, I think we realized that when we went to Louisiana.
Yeah. Speaking on that, I started the preseason off as a defender, playing with Piper Furch in Huntsville, Alabama. And I played with Abby Reinhard, another one of our blockers. I played with Logan a little bit. She was playing with Logan mainly. Mm-hmm. And we were just switching up the pairs all over the place. But I think we're in a really good groove in our lineup.
Yeah, I think the pairings have really gotten stronger as the season's gone on.
Especially you two. Speaking on that, when did it maybe click for you guys? When did you guys realize, like, hey?
we were actually talking about this today, which is really funny.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think
it's
Davis. Yeah, Davis. I mean, before that, I think we were playing fine. I mean, it wasn't like we were playing bad, but I think something clicked in that tournament, and all of a sudden, everything was just cleaner, smoother. I think we just started feeling way more confident.
Okay.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, we had a few close games that we like weren't able to close, and we had long talks with Todd about it, like the mental side of it, and like what we should be doing to change that. And I think that over the Davis, like our game started to mesh really well together.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously that makes sense. And you guys won 13 straight matchups individually. And I was just kind of looking through like your individual like game logs, and your only 4 losses as a pair were like in like not a week span, but they were like in the span of 9 days. And I think
Yeah.
and they were all against great teams too. It was against UCLA, Cal, USC. I think FIU was the 4th one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just kind of wanting to kind of switch avenues a little bit and talk like how you guys ended up in the position you are today. Either of you guys can take this to start, but both of you guys had in your high school career played indoor volleyball as well. What or how were you able to kind of, when you got to Cal Poly, like really lock in on like just the beach specifically, and like how did that like first arise that where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do?
So I actually have a really interesting committing story, because so when I was a freshman in high school, I committed here to play both beach and indoor volleyball. And then there was a coaching change end of my sophomore year, and I got decommitted fall of my junior year. And then I had a long conversation with Todd. I was like, I don't know what I want to do, because I really wanted to play both in college. That was like a big thing for me for choosing a school. And so I called him. We had a really good talk, and I decided to stay here just for beach. And so I think that, and then I moved in with Piper Furch, as you're just all in this conversation.
For those who listen, Piper's right over there on the side.
I actually moved in with Piper Furch in January of my senior year. So I moved from Maui to Seattle, played with her club out there, and I think that it was really good for my game. Because at home I was like the tallest, and I didn't try very hard because I didn't have to win. Yeah. And then I really got like a good challenge, and the girls were great and coaches were great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, I knew I wanted to play in college for a really long time. I decided I wanted to play beach full time when I was in 6th grade. I was playing soccer and indoor volleyball at the time, and I got into middle school, and they basically told me you have to choose between soccer or indoor volleyball because we can't pay for both. And that summer, they forced me to go to a beach volleyball camp, and I did not want to go because I didn't know anyone, and I didn't want to be like the friendless loser there. I didn't know anyone. But thank God I went, because I went out there, and I immediately knew I was like, I'm not playing either of them. Like, I want to switch to beach. And they were like, thank God we don't have to wake up early in the morning to go to God knows where in an arena to watch you play indoor volleyball. So from that point on, I mean, the rest is kind of history. Like, I knew I wanted to play in college. I switched my dream schools like 3 or 4 times, and it ended up like I love it here. I'm so glad that I ended up here at Cal Poly.
How was you played U19 USA for beach, right? How was that experience? What was that like? Was that you?
Cayman's was her.
Piper Furch, you're just in this. So Piper Furch and I went to the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
Freshman year?
Yeah. No, sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So we were on the U20 collegiate. No, we were on the U20 youth national team, and we played in the Cayman Islands, and we got first over there.
Yeah. How was that experience?
It was so fun. We had a great group of people that traveled with us, and the coaches were amazing, and it was just such a neat experience to be able to travel there for volleyball.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So obviously you guys get to Cal Poly, and both of you early on in your careers, I mean, you're a redshirt sophomore, you're a true sophomore, and obviously having great success this year, but that happened basically as soon as you stepped foot on campus. Both of you guys had very highly successful freshman year. What was kind of that experience like getting to Cal Poly, and like, was there any like doubt like before you played your first game, like, can I really do this? And like
100%. Yeah, I don't know about you, but
I had a story with Amy Ozzie, who was our assistant coach my freshman year, who's also a really good friend. I know her from home. I was talking to her, and I was like, I don't know who I'm going to play with. I should probably just redshirt this season. Like, I don't even know if, like, I don't think I'll be in the lineup. Like, I don't know. And then he puts me at the ones. And I played with Tia, and it was absolutely amazing. And I don't know. I have no idea. I just don't think, because Todd doesn't send out the lineups until, like,
the day before
or
the
we
day
travel.
Really?
So the very first lineup is always the most difficult because no one actually knows where they are, especially because we had such a new team. You weren't like, oh, I could mix this with, like, last year and, like, see where I rank. It was like, I have no idea. And so, like, I don't know.
No, same was for me, because my first tournament was the preseason tournament last year when we played Stanford and LMU. And I just wanted to be in the lineup. Like, I thought I was going to maybe be in, like, the 4s and 5s pair. And then he sends out the lineup, and I'm playing with Mariah Whalen, who ended up being our grad assistant coach that year because she ended up losing her eligibility. But she was, like, the top dog at on our team at the time. Like, she was she was, like, a 7th year. Like, she was insane. And I saw that lineup, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm playing with Mariah. Like, I'm so nervous. I literally I don't think I ate that whole day because my stomach was so upset because I was so nervous. But we ended up playing fine. We played amazing, and we beat Stanford for my first game. So I was really exciting. And then after that, I feel like it evened out a little bit.
How does that young success, being freshman, getting, that type of major, success, and not only just playing time, how does that build to now where you guys are top 10 pairing in the country, shooting for a team for a national title? How did that build the foundation? Because I've talked to other athletes, and, like, if I didn't go through those hoops as a freshman, I'd be going through those hoops right now as a junior, and I'm so glad I did.
No, 100%. I think last year, we definitely had a couple beatdowns. A little bit humbling, but overall, I think it made me so much more confident in my game because I was basically getting served almost every single game. Thanks to Piper for setting me all the time.
You just need to grab a mic and get in here.
I was getting served almost every single game. There were games where, I also ended up pulling my ab halfway through the season last year, so I couldn't swing either. So I was just shooting, which made it a lot harder to win too. So on top of that, but now this year, I'm like, I dare you to serve me. Like, I feel so more confident. I'm like, I'm going to put this ball away if you serve me right now. And I think that's kind of been a mantra on our team this year in comparison to last year, which has also been a really big change.
Yeah.
Talk your talk. That's fine.
I know. I was just interviewing Coach Rogers earlier today, and I asked him the question because here at Cal Poly, the rest of our sports, usually wrestling's on that national level, but everybody else usually isn't on the national level. You guys are on the national level right here. You're hosting, 7 top 10 teams here, and you guys so excited. We'll get to that in a second. So excited. But I asked him, like, as you guys go into preparation, you're preparing at a much higher level than I think other sports at Cal Poly do. Can you maybe walk us through, like, do you have an understanding of, hey, we are a top 10 team? Does that ever run through your mind, or is it just a daily grind? Whoever we face is who we face.
Yeah, I think we take it one day at a time, or in my opinion. And the talks that I've had with some of the girls on the team, it's very like, we're going to play to our ability no matter who's in front of us, and playing our game no matter what, because that's how we play best, especially us two. Like, not worrying about who's on the other side of the net, running our plays, like, passing well, and just doing what we do best.
No, I agree. We've had a lot of talks this year, literally, that can take up half of our practice about, like, what is championship mentality and, like, knowing that we have the potential to go far. It's just a matter of whether we want it enough or not.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit to something you guys were talking about earlier with, like, Coach Rogers not sending out the lineups till the day before. Obviously now at this point in the season, you guys are obviously probably figure you're going to go number 1. I don't think that's going to change. Like, early on in the season, what was that kind of like preparation like, where you're maybe not knowing like who you're going to face off from other schools? Like, is there any like scouting that kind of goes into it? Can you guys just kind of walk me through that process?
You want to go over it?
Yeah. So we have Huddle, which is a video app, scouting, whatever. And a lot of the coaches will do like, I'll send you this film if you send us this. So like they'll send each other film. Normally it's of themselves, but because most of the beach volleyball coaches are really good friends, and Todd is friends with literally everyone, but so they'll just send it back and forth, and then we watch it the night before, the day before. She loves scouting. I like scouting us and watching us, learning how we can be better, and she likes the opposite of going for the other teams.
Yeah, so we normally get these like little sheets of paper, and we can scout where they're hitting every single time, whether it was dug, whether they put the ball away. Okay. I find it so fascinating. I love creating game plans against other people. I'm a very strategical player, so I like coming in with a game plan every single time.
Absolutely.
But earlier in the season, would you have to do that for different pairings, not knowing where in the lineup you were specifically going to be playing?
Normally, usually we scout a pair, and if it ends up switching, we'll just switch with each other. Okay. So other pairs will just switch. But
for FSU, it's going to be new.
Yeah, FSU switches up their lineup a lot, so we have no clue who we're playing.
We have the option of playing like 3 different pairings.
How does that go into your preparation? Do you then have
have to watch?
You just have to watch all of them.
You just have to watch all of them. Take it all. So
go. I was gonna say that's probably beneficial to your teammates as well, though. Too, if you have a really good scout on one pairing and find out they're playing against them, you can kind of help them out. I imagine.
Speaking of FSU, you guys are hosting here at Cal Poly this weekend. Recording this on April 10th, not February 10th, April 10th. This weekend, you guys are hosting FSU, UCLA, LMU is who you guys playing, a bunch of other top 10 teams. Going into this tournament, I was talking to Coach Rogers. He's saying it's almost like a national tournament type barring. Do you guys view it as the same?
I would say so, yeah. I think it's one of the biggest tournaments, if not excluding the national championship tournaments in beach volleyball. Like, our complex are amazing. The Swansons are great, and their ability to put on this event is, I mean, before I committed to Cal Poly, I would come every year and watch the COE tournament, and now it's like I'm playing in it. Like, other people are coming to watch us, which is insane.
That's huge. Yeah, it'll be exciting to watch. You got, rematch against UCLA, so I'm sure you guys are looking forward to that one. And you got Florida State for the first time as well this season. Looking through my notes real quick.
I'll push in. Coach Rogers, you've talked about him a lot. How is he as a coach? Obviously, we know the history a little bit there, but I hear you guys call him Todd, not Coach Rogers.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the familiarity type of relationship everybody has?
Yeah. I mean, I just remember in my recruiting emails, it always he's like, "Dear Coach Rogers," and then everyone calls him. I got here and everyone called him Todd, and I was like, "Oh, this is so much nicer.
What's up, Todd?"
So much easier.
I call him Toddy Raji.
Nice. I like that one.
We had to talk about it because our assistant coach, Angela Rock, at the beginning of the year wanted to be called Coach Ange, Coach Angela, and Todd was like, "Don't call me." Like, if you have to put either Todd or Rogers in it, I won't respond, I won't hear it. So you have to either say Coach Todd or Coach Rogers, but no one ever says either one of those.
No.
It's normally just Todd.
Is that kind of bringing just the familiarity aspect amongst the team? You guys seem really lighthearted. Everybody does. Been around the team a lot. Is that kind of the mantra you guys are pushing forward to? Just play loose, play fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Todd's created a really great atmosphere. He definitely doesn't only focus on recruiting talent, but just hardworking girls. And I mean, he has picked some of my best friends, which thank you, Todd.
It works out.
There's like a specific type of person he likes to recruit.
Yeah. And another thing that he does really well is he cares about us a lot as people and like not just as like players. Like, he checks in about our families and like our schooling and like how we're doing in our personal lives. And like, he has a lot of talks about like how we can be better people in general. Like, some of the stuff that I go through, I'm going to him because he gives really great advice because he's been through so much and like balancing volleyball and family and school and life, and
it's a lot.
He's just so knowledgeable about a lot, and he's great.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
That works out.
Do you have any like funny Todd memories, like something he's done like during practice or game that just kind of like epitomizes who he is?
I just remember at practice I think it was actually yesterday, that made me laugh like in the middle of his talk, because he said frustrated, but he says frustrated sometimes. And he was talking and he's like, I think he's being like more serious, and he says frustrated. And I was like, trying not to laugh.
Every time. And he knows he says frustrated too. He'll sometimes say frustrated, but he's like, I'm going to piss you guys off. I'm going to say frustrated.
It's like a serious mood, dude.
Yeah, and I was
like
trying not to laugh in the huddle.
Like, we got the center of effort, got the best teams in the nation.
You guys travel a lot for all your games. Talk about go all the way down to the south where no other Cal Poly team, does that. Do you guys have any like fun travel memories, travel moments? Because I feel like that's such a great time to bond within a team and kind of grow as a team that can translate maybe to on the court.
Oh God, when we went to Louisiana for the first time earlier this season, we had 2 layovers, and it was like midnight, and we got to our gate. We ran across the LAX airport to go to our gate, only to find out it had been canceled until like 10 o'clock the next morning, and we had nowhere to stay. So instead, we decided to make the 5-hour drive from LAX to it's 3 hours from LAX to SLO. But we were in the bus to go to the rental cars.
Oh my gosh.
We were in it was literally just us and the bus driver.
It was like half the team.
It was half the team, and we were all so tired. Like, we had played 3 games that day. It was so hot in Louisiana, and it's literally now at this point 1 a.m. We're exhausted.
Yeah.
And we just sang the whole entire Pitch Perfect riff off in the bus. All delusional. At the top of our lungs.
Yep,
Yeah, I think that the bus driver probably thought we were insane, but we killed it.
Yeah, it was so funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't know what you were thinking, but that's immediately what came to mind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bus drivers just wanting to go home. He's
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's 1 a.m. We
These
want to get
girls are
home.
singing.
He was like, that was awesome, because we were all getting off the bus. I was like, I don't know what to say now.
Sorry, you probably never see
I know, exactly.
That's how it works out. I know it's a hard question to ask, but what does success look like for you guys this season, individually as a pairing, individually as a person, and kind of as a team? Because I know, everybody's going to say national title, and that's always the goal. But what do you guys view as success?
I think success, because we've also talked about this, like this whole championship mentality is like putting your 100% effort in every aspect of your life, not just volleyball. And your 100% may not be your 100% at every time. Like, our bodies hurt a lot of the time. Like, we're lifting, we're doing plyos, conditioning. Like, I'm sore by the end of the week, I'm not going to lie, but I'm still going to give my 100%, whether that's my normal 80%. And that same thing goes into other aspects of my life. I think we all as a team understand that, like, school is super important. Having time with our friends is super important. Like, making sure we're filling all the buckets of our life up.
I view especially volleyball success a lot differently than other people do. And so what I would say success is, from my perspective, is like implementing the tools that we're getting and the things that we're learning into our game just to make us better, and seeing that specifically pay off. Like, we've worked a lot this year specifically on a bunch of new things, like jump setting and a bunch of like optioning and plays. And so watching that like pay off in the games and like seeing it work has been super rewarding, I think. And I think that is what is success to me.
It's
not
really
necessarily winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really healthy. Like we talked about before, we had the Lamer brothers on. They said some of the same, like
Very
the
similar
end goal
mindset.
is like a championship, yes, but it's the incremental kind of, push, the incremental wins that we have day in, day out, that at the end of the season we could be satisfied with the effort and the work we put in, even if the result isn't always the best.
And it's funny, the teams that often have the most success are the
100%.
teams that have this mindset, and not the teams that are drilling, we need to win, we need to perform. And I mean, you guys, the wrestling team, I know women's basketball, all 3 of those teams have had very successful years and very similar mindset that the coach is preaching, and people within the program all kind of think in the same way. Kind of switching lanes a little bit. Obviously, you've had immense success this year. Have there been any moments of adversity? I know we talked a little bit about early on in the season, those like 4 losses, pretty short time span. Do you guys have any like moments that kind of stood out where we're kind of tough earlier on this year, but I mean, obviously you guys have bounced back since then?
Within us or within our team?
Either or.
I would say like long-term injuries for our team, especially. We've had a few girls. Lindsay Sparks, she's I don't even know how to describe what's happening. She tore her knee, I'll say.
It wasn't her ACL, I know that.
No, it was everything else though.
Yeah, one of those rough knee
in a
injuries.
freak accident playing a grass tournament, and then she's coming back and she's finally like 100%. But it was harder this season because it would be super sore and like she couldn't use it after playing a match. And then we've had 2 other big injuries on the team.
No. Oh yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Which has been a little rough.
How do you guys, when you see, when you have a, friend, a sister, or someone, your person on your team go down with the injury, how does that affect maybe your guys' mindset day in, day out? Does it ever creep into the back of your mind like, hey, this might be my last jump after you've seen 2 or 3 other girls maybe go down?
No, I think for me, it makes me want to try harder for them, to like do it for them. And like they tried so hard and weren't able to get there. So I can do it for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
For
awesome.
sure.
All right, we have a little game, a pairing game, okay? It's a who's more likely game. So first question.
Okay, I know.
You got this. Here we go. Who's more likely to be late for practice?
You, 100%. I'm never going to be late to practice.
I'm also probably never going to be late to practice, but I have class before every practice.
The only time I'm ever late is if because Addie and Emma, my roommates, are.
I was going to say the only time I'm ever late.
I hate being late to things.
So do I. But I would say she's more on top of her stuff than I am.
What were you saying?
Who's more likely to get the other one hyped?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
I feel like we both are very good at it.
Yeah, we both get.
I think I'm just louder.
Yeah, you are louder. But I jump around a lot.
Yeah.
After.
And we have a cute handshake.
Yeah, we do.
What's the pregame routine then looking like before you go out there?
In what way?
And like, how do you get yourself prepared mentally, physically? How do you guys get
meal?
Yeah,
like
meal.
Specific meal you always eat.
Specific song.
Superstitious at all?
I am superstitious. I wear the same 2 hair ties every single time I play with the same exact hairstyle.
I feel like most athletes are like at least a little
why.
bit superstitious.
She's
a lot more than.
Yeah, I am really superstitious.
You just kind of
She's
go
really superstitious.
Yeah, it's like we have to pepper on the same side if we won the game before. And I'm like, let's just pepper, Izzy. But she's like, no, you were standing over there. You have to go back over there.
It's a comfortability.
Yeah,
thing.
it's just something about it. I like it.
You roll with the punches.
If it makes her happy, I'll do it.
That works. All right. Who's more likely to go get a burger?
I love burgers, especially after a game. Yeah, in juniors, like after every single tournament, we go get like In-N-Out or Shake Shack or something with a milkshake. So
I don't eat burgers that often.
I love burgers.
There's always
I
one.
miss it.
There's always like whenever we have like, especially athletes, obviously, there's always one person that loves burgers and the other one's like, I'm not really a burger person.
I'll eat a burger, but
That's one of my pet peeves, actually. Is like we always, when we drive back from tournaments, we always get healthy food. I'm like, I just want a burger after our tournament. I don't want healthy food. I ate healthy food all weekend.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's get an acai bowl.
I know.
Like,
and I'm like, no,
a burger.
I want a big, juicy burger and a milkshake.
What's your favorite burger place then? Just transition to that.
Probably In-N-Out. I'm an In-N-Out girl. I'm from California, so
yeah, it has to be.
It has to be In-N-Out.
I get mad at Five Guys people.
I'm allergic to peanuts, so I can't do Five Guys because they use peanut oil.
They do.
Five Guys is also mad expensive. Like, I'm not trying to drop $30 on a burger and shake.
It's true. It's true. Okay, if you guys had one advice to give to someone out there listening on maybe what beach volleyball this team is specifically, what your program kind of emulates, what would that be?
That's a tough one.
I know. I got to think about that for a sec. Probably trust in your teammates. Like, I think something that really sticks out in this team compared to other teams, like just talking with other friends that I have that are at other schools and things like that. I think our team is really special because we trust in each other and know that we've all put in the work. And when I go out onto that court, I trust in not only our game, but all of our pairs' game, that they have worked the hardest and they're going to put 100% out every single time.
I would say don't be afraid to fail because we have like our team behind us all the time, and you only need to win 3 out of the 5. And so if you're not having your day, going back into trusting your teammates, I trust that someone else is having their day and they're going to take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. This is completely switching lanes from I have one more most likely too. Who's most likely to get into like an altercation with the other team?
Oh, I don't really.
I would.
You definitely you.
I was. So Tia, my old partner from freshman year, she would have won that. Yeah, she was very spicy on the court, I would say. And so my freshman year, I wasn't very loud. I didn't really say anything. But this year, and Izzy does very well. She picks up her game a lot when the energy is higher. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care. I can play like either one, but I'm finding that I'm enjoying the higher energy. But I was really sassy in the game the other day.
Yeah, you were. I'm not a very confrontational person, so.
But it's not, and when I'm watching film, I don't like actively, because I'm not a big fan of like the stare down or like actually like being mean. I will like definitely talk shit when I'm playing with guys, especially because that's just how I grew up. Like my brother, my dad, like that's the vibe of, like, the Hawaiian culture is, like, you're calling them out. You're being like, oh, like, what's up?
Very competitive.
And so I, like, did that a little bit. But watching film, I will, like, yell. But I have my eyes closed under my glasses, but nobody can see that. So it looks like I'm just yelling across the net. And I'm like, I don't love that. But
does Coach Rogers ever say anything?
he chirps all the time.
Oh, yeah, he does triple.
Oh, okay.
It's mainly at the refs.
Yeah.
He normally,
No, it's never. I
it's
feel like it's never at the
girls.
girls.
Or
no.
it's at me. So
I know he's chirped me in preseason when we played in Hawaii. It was like downpour rain. I went to go set a ball and I completely like doubled it. And the ref called it and he's like, "What? What are you talking about? Like that wasn't a double. That was at least a triple." And I was like, "Oh God, thanks, Todd."
Yeah, I'll trip back at Todd if he says something to me normally. We'll be on a side
You guys
switch.
got that relationship where it's
Yeah.
just,
Oh yeah.
If anything, I feel like it fires you up.
it would fire me up too, honestly.
I love going back and forth with him because he's so funny.
Oh,
He's awesome.
that's awesome. I
Has-
don't have anything else. Do you have something else?
I was gonna just ask if he's ever tripped another coach. Well, you guys said he's friends with all the coaches.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think I've ever seen him with another coach. But
Not like actually, but he'll
just like
he'll like on the side switch he'll like mention something like, "Oh, you thought that set was clean," or just like something like it's going back to the ref.
Yeah.
About how like
Yeah.
the ref just screwed up that call.
Got you.
He was feisty when he played. Cue Todd Rogers is so epic.
yeah, yeah, he used to be a big chirper when he played.
Yeah.
It was really fun to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of last thing. Do you guys have any like goals for the rest of the season, like both individually, as a pairing, like just mindset wise, anything like that?
I think for me, skill wise, I would love to be able to consistently jump set. I can do it occasionally. You're much better at it, but that's a really big goal for me.
Only because I've been hand setting since I was a baby.
Yeah, I only switched to hand setting like not even 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So that's my biggest goal on the court, at least.
I can't bump set, so I had to learn how to hand set.
And then off court, I think honestly just keep making sure my life is balanced. It can be hard sometimes when everything's volleyball. Like there's days where if you play bad at practice, it consumes my whole day. And I have to remind myself that like, yeah, I may have sucked during practice, but tomorrow's a new day. I did well in the classroom. Like kind of look at big picture rather than one practice.
Yeah, I had a bad day of practice, but I don't have to have a bad day of studying.
Exactly.
You don't have to throw it all out.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's something that I think I learned from not playing last year, that like I got to have that separation. It like wasn't my whole life. And I got to like have more of a balance, even though it was really difficult for me. Because before that, volleyball was my entire life. And I based my like personality on it, and like I didn't know what I was going to do without it. But it made me choose different hobbies, like do a bunch of different stuff. So
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this.
Thank
for
you.
having
Yeah.
us.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you guys want to like shout yourself out on socials
Yeah.
or something, where people can find you guys at or check you guys out. Yeah.
On Instagram, I'm at Izzy Rose, 2022, and it's 3 scores on both sides.
You
Yeah.
just look up Izzy Rose.
Yeah, if you just look up Izzy Rose, it should
go
probably
to Cal Poly
pop
Beach
up.
Volleyball.
Yeah,
She'll be
there you
on
go.
there.
Find it on there.
And I'm Ella Connor. I might have 2 R's on it. I don't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, guys, for coming
Awesome.
on.
Thanks,
That
guys.
was
Yeah,
a fun
thank you.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. That was it for the Gallop. Anthony Molleson signing off. Well, that was it for our interview we had with Ella and Izzy. Nick, what are your kind of overall thoughts on the interview and kind of some takeaways you had?
I think number one thing I took away when they were talking about the team itself, how loose they play, and how just like fun and fun spirited the team seems like, what the pairing seems like, and I think that bodes really well for going into these really high intense, high stressful games and matches they're going to be playing, if not in the Big West, but then also in the NCAA tournament or even this weekend against 3 top 10 teams. Having that like base foundation of laughter and kind of just joyfulness rather than being super serious, kind of, stern type of, way, I think that's going to help them a lot. And it makes, the people around them, us around them just feel more relaxed. So that has to be permeating throughout the entire team.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was really interested to hear kind of about their relationship with Coach Rogers, or Todd as they call him.
Yeah.
They both seemed very like close with him, and it was cool to kind of hear about the details about stories and just kind of like that loose dynamic they have. I mean, Ella was saying how if he chirps at her, she'll chirp back at him, which is just kind of cool. I mean, you don't always see that with coaches. It can kind of be like, it's not always that loose of a relationship between player and coach.
Yeah,
so
definitely. It's like a family atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and that goes kind of hand in hand with what you were saying of playing loose. I mean, if your coach is kind of, you view your coach as more like a friend and guide than someone who's like you're scared of, you're going to be able to obviously go out there and play more loose. So,
yeah, and I was talking to Coach Rogers a couple of days ago from now this recording, and I think where, he said it himself, he goes, hey, the goal is a national title. It's like, I've been around national title. He's an Olympian in his own right. Like, he's like, I've been around greatness. This team is great. We have the opportunity to win a national title, and that'd be, Cal Poly's first ever D1 national title. That's a really big deal, and this team has every capability in doing so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to be rooting for Cal Poly Beach going forward. Huge weekend with the center of effort this weekend. Obviously, like we've been talking about for the past however long this podcast has been going, just kind of the stakes of that tournament and how many high level teams.
7 top 10 teams are going to be
here in Swanson.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we had time for today. If you guys liked what you heard, you can check us out on any preferred streaming platforms or on kcpr.org/podcast. You can also find us on the sports section at mustangnews.net/sports.
You can follow KCPR on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter at KCPR913 and Mustang News Sports at CP Mustang Sports on Instagram and at CPMN Sports on Twitter and TikTok.
For more information about beach volleyball, check the official Cal Poly Athletic website at gopoly.com.
Ride high
and go Stangs.